Okay, so from what I understand, this is a live broadcast. I'm kind of hoping it's being recorded so that others can watch it if they end up missing this event. It's the first time I've done this type of quiz review using a live feed, so we'll see how this goes. All right, so we're going to attempt to go over some key things you're going to need to know to take the Microsoft Word Introduction Quiz Review. Now I need to get some text, so I'm just going to go to the internet and pull a CNN article. Let's go with something relatively political free. And Hurricane Matthew right now is what's in the news. So what I'm going to do is just grab this data. Oops. And I'm only doing this for text for this particular assignment, for this particular review, for no other purpose. Okay, so I've copied it. Go ahead and go to minimize. Now I'm going to pull up my Word document, which is just a blank Word document. I'm going to do Control-V to paste it. Now, a couple things about Microsoft Word. For those of you who have never seen Microsoft Word before or know very little about it other than this is what we type stuff on. Up here is where we see our ribbon. And you see that we have document 1-Word. That means that this document has not been saved yet. So I'm not going to save it just yet. We're going to save that towards the end. Now, there's a couple of ways to basically reduce or minimize the ribbon. And the first way is to come up here and click on Ribbon Display Options and select Auto Hide Ribbon. That would freak me out. I need to have my ribbon available. So I'm going to go back and click on Show Tabs and Commands. Now, the other way to hide the ribbon or show it again is to do, oops, that's not it. Wrong way. Okay, I'm gonna go here. Okay, so there is more than one way to do that. I'm just afraid of hiding the ribbon and not being able to access everything else I need to go to. Okay, so right now it looks like if I do Control A to select all, I'm going to go ahead and apply the Times New Roman. So Times New Roman and 12 to my text. So now you can see I have approximately a little over a line and 3/4 here based off of Times New Roman 12. But we also have to take into consideration the margins. So if we go into layout and go over here to margins, you can see that my default margin is normal, which is 1 inch all the way around. Now, if I was to decrease the size of my margins, it's going to allow me to fit more text on this page. Whereas if I go back to my margins again and click on, let's do 2 inch left and right, you see I can fit a lot less text on this page. And basically this is having to go into 2 pages. Now I'm going to do Control Z to undo that, and then Control Z to undo that again. So when you decrease the size of the margins, Word is going to put more text on each page. And then when you increase the size of the margin, less text is going to fit on the page. All right. The next thing I want to talk about is tabs. So I'm going to click on Home. And Home is your default tab. Each tab has specific groups that go along with it. So Home has clipboard and font and paragraph, styles, and editing. These are the most commonly used groups. The other tabs, for example, Insert. Insert has a group for pages, one for tables, one for illustrations, add-ons, and so on. If we go into design, design has a document formatting group, and then a page background group. And then I'm just going to go into layout, has a page setup group, a paragraph group, and then an arrange group. So I'm going to go back to home. To set up tabs, now there are 4 styles of tabs. So let's take a look at that. To access the tabs, again, there's always one way to do this, but I'm going to go through my paragraph group. And I want to open up my paragraph dialog box. I'm going to click on this little button right here. And this is my paragraph dialog box. Now, in the lower left-hand corner, you're going to see the button for tabs. We're going to go ahead and click on tabs. And here you'll actually see we have left, center, right, decimal, and bar. So actually we have 5 alignments of tabs. So I'm going to set up a left tab at, let's say, 0.5. And I'm going to click on set. And then I want to set up a center tab at, let's say, 2. And then set. And then I want to set up a right tab at 3, and then set. And then I want to set up a decimal tab at 5, and then okay. I'm not going to worry about bar tab right now. So if I click on tab and I type in left tab, left, that's fine. And you're going to notice up here in our ruler, we have this little L is facing this way. Now, if you don't have the ruler, you want to go into view and click on the little ruler checkbox here. See how it goes away? I like having my ruler on my Word document. Now, if I click on tab again, you're going to see it's going to line up to our center. So this is going to be our center tab. And then this one is going to be our right tab. Probably want to move that over just a little bit. So I'm going to put my mouse over top of it, hold it down, and I'm just going to kind of drag it over. All right, so there's my right tab. Now the last one I've created is a decimal tab. Decimal tabs are best used with numbers, okay? Duh, it's a decimal. Letters don't use decimals. So let's say you're putting in various numbers. We'll put in, say, 50.00, enter, tab, 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 and we'll do 45.57, enter, tab, 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 140.01. As you can see how that lines up neatly under each other based off where that decimal is. So that's what we use a decimal tab for. Okay. Whenever you're creating a report or a project using Word, you're not always going to be on one page. It's very common to have multiple pages. If you are doing, let's say, an APA paper, you're going to have at least 3 pages. Your first page is going to be your cover page. Your second page is going to be where your content is. And your third page is going to be where you put your references at. So it's important that we know new pages without having to go enter, 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 entering all the way down until I finally have 2 pages. That's not good. The most efficient way to do that is to do Control-Enter to create a new page. Now, how do I know if the page break is natural? In other words, enter, 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 enter until I have a new page, or if it's a manual page break where I did Control-Enter. Well, if I click on File, and this is our Backstage view, you can see we have several options here, and we go into Options and click on Display, I can click on Show All Formatting Marks, and then click on OK. And now you can see our tabs and my manual page break that I created here. Now, in my opinion, I think showing formatting marks makes it kind of noisy, so I like to just hide them. So I'm going to go back to File, Options, Display, and then Show all formatting marks. I'm just going to uncheck that and then click on OK. All right. Now, one of the great features that Microsoft Word has is the spell checker and grammar checker. To access that, again, I'm going to start with Home just because this is where everything starts. If we go over to Review, you're going to see it's over here on the left-hand side, Spelling and Grammar, and I can run a spelling and grammar check. Well, if I put in R-A-N-E, enter, obviously that's wrong. We spell rain as R-A-I-N. So when it's got that little red squiggly line, it means it's a spelling issue. If I put in he were there, you'll notice I have, and that hurts to write, you'll notice that we have a blue squiggly line or kind of a purple squiggly line, just depending on your perception. That's a grammar error. So it's saying, okay, that's not right. So it's saying, okay, we need to fix that. He was there.
Anthony needs to get out of the bathroom. Your camera's on.
No. Wow. All right. Let me get rid of this. Let's talk about themes. Themes are a great way of tying in fonts and font styles, font colors, and spacing, and things like that. But in order to use themes, we have to apply styles to our text. So I'm going to again click on Home, and I'm going to create a title for my document. We're just going to call this Hurricane Matthew causing major damage already. That's going to be my title. And I'm going to put in a subtitle or a heading 1. And let's call heading 1 as being Guantanamo Bay. And then here, we're going to call this one Jamaica and Haiti. And then here we're going to do Florida. I'm going to get rid of my tabs just because I don't need these right now. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and select my title, and I'm going to go up to my styles, and I'm going to apply a title style to it. Now I want this style to be centered, so I'm going to go over to my paragraph group, and here I have left align, center, right align, and justified. We're going to get into that later. Right now I just want to center it. Now I'm going to go into Guantanamo and call this heading 1. Now, while I'm here, I want to style for this one and this one. So I'm going to actually go up here to Format Painter, and I'm going to double-click it. By double-clicking the Format Painter, it allows me to apply a style to more than one incident. So, see here my little paintbrush. I'm going to select it. So now that one's been selected, and now that one's been selected. Now I'm going to go ahead and click on the Format Painter again to turn it off. And you'll see that I have heading 1 there, heading 1 there, and title. Now I made some changes to my title because I want it centered. Enter. So I'm going to select it again. And I want to right click because I want the title to always be centered. So I'm going to right click and update title to match selection. So this way, when I go to use title again, it's going to automatically center that text. All right, now let's get back into themes. We're going to go into design, and here we have themes. And you want to watch right here how this stuff changes from where I just applied the styles. So here's my office, facet, gallery, integral. You see how it's changing the colors and the spacing and the size of my text. All right, so it's made quite a few changes, but it keeps it all uniform. So the the themes contain predefined formatting and are combinations of the colors and style fonts, paragraph spacing, and effects, along with the style headings. Now, let's say we want to create our own unique style. I am very much march by the beat of my own drum. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select the text, and I want to change this. Let's change it to chiller, because hurricanes are really kind of scary. So I'm going to click on chiller, and I want to make it red, and I'll make it a little bit larger. And I want to apply this to my heading. So I'm going to change what my heading 1 is going to look like. So right click, update heading to match selection. So they automatically changed. And now I'm going to go into styles, and no, not wrong place. I'm going to go here to open up my style gallery, and I'm going to create the style, call this heading chiller, and then OK. So now I have a heading chiller up here in addition to a heading 1 that matches that new style. So now I've created my own style. All right. Let's look at indenting. Now there's 2 times that you're going to really use indenting. The first time you're going to use indenting is when you go to do a paragraph. A lot of times I see students and they're just going to click tab. Okay, but that doesn't really give you consistency throughout your paper. The best way to do that is to go up here and create your indent. And we're just going to drag this, put my left mouse click over here and drag it about halfway to the 1. And now you have your first line indent. Now, the other kind of indent is what we call a hanging indent. The only time we really do those is on a reference page or on a works cited page. So I'm going to type in references. It should be centered. Now I'm just going to make up this name. So it has no reflection on this article. I'm just making up a name. Okay, so Smith, comma, J. You're always going to have the author's last name, comma, and his first initial, or his or her first initial, and then space, and then parentheses. I'm going to put in the date of the article, 6, period, and then the name of the article. So Hurricane Matthew makes landfall. And causes major damage. All right, now I pulled that article from CNN, so I'm going to put in CNN online, and then retrieved from, and I'm not going to get the exact address. You should if you're copying, if you're doing a true reference. I'll just make one up, www.cnn.com. Enter. So now I want to do what we call a hanging indent. So I'm going to select both of these lines. And I'm going to take this arrow that's pointing up, hold down my left mouse my left mouse click, and drag this again about halfway across. It's very common that this top one wants to kind of come across for the ride. but we need to bring this back over. So we're going to put our mouse over top of the one that's pointing down. The left mouse click and drag that back across to the left margin. That's where this one belongs. This should always be what you're doing. And if you do a lot of APA or MLA papers, you can set this as your default. Just click on Set as Default. I'm going to click on OK. All right. Now, the next thing we're going to look at so we've opened up our paragraph dialog box using this button here. Well, there's another way to do it. If I select my text and I right-click, oops, try this again. Right-click. I don't know why it's not wanting to work. Probably because I'm left-clicking. There we go. Okay, I'm not wanting to work today. All right, I'm going to go over here to my font group. And you can see we can't do anything with our paragraph dialog box here. Okay, so I'm going to click on Cancel. Again, we can click it on here. But if I right-click in here, and I don't know why it's not wanting to read my right, there it goes, now it comes up, paragraph. You can right-click on your mouse, right-click your mouse, and your paragraph dialog box will come out that way as well. So there's more than one way to open up your paragraph dialog box. All right, let's take a look at text boxes. Let's say we want to add a picture here. Well, let's do a quote box first. So we're going to do insert. So we want to insert a new component. So I'm going to do insert and text box. A WISP quote text box is simply a style of text box. So I'm going to scroll all the way down till I find WISP quote text box. And there's my WISP quote text box. A WISP quote is just when you're trying to quote someone to really grab the reader's attention. And you notice you have quite a bit of control over these text boxes as far as the exact placement. Now, let's say if I come down here and I just try to do an online picture. So I'm going to do insert online picture, and I'm just going to put in hurricane. And we'll grab this one and then insert. Make it smaller. I'm going to grab one of the corner sizing handles and just make it smaller because I don't need anything quite that large. Okay. So now I have an image here, but I really don't have much control over where it shows up. Well, text boxes allow us that control. So I'm going to get rid of this text box, and I'm going to add another text box. So insert, text box, simple text box, and I can move this wherever I want to put my picture. And I want to have it right about here. Now I want to use this picture. So I'm going to left click, right click, cut, left click, Control V to paste. And then I can modify the size of my text box to accommodate the size of my image. Left click to bring up my sizing handles again. I want to kind of move this. When you're moving it, make sure you grab the text box and not the image. That's important. Okay, so this is about where I want to place it. Now, I don't want this border to be here, so I'm going to double click the border. You'll see that my toolbar up here changed. I'm going to go up into my shape outline and simply click on no outline. Now, when I click off of it, you'll see that my text box outline has disappeared, making it nice and neat. Okay, so we talked about text boxes and a Wisp quote text box. Now let's talk about headers and footers. The easiest way to access your header or your footer is if you go to the top of your document, simply double click, and that's going to take you into where your header is going to be. Now, if you're not comfortable with that, you can simply click on Insert and Header. It's going to take you to the same exact place. So I'm going to put in running head, Hurricane Matthew. And I do running head because that's what you put in the first page of an APA report. All right. Now, we can do a different first page. And if you're doing an APA document, you have to use a different first page. Your first page actually has to say running head, and then at least part of the name of your paper. And then the page number. This is page 1. Now, if we scroll down, we can get rid of, go here, and get rid of running head. You'll see we did that on page 2, but page 1 still says running head. That's because I have different first pages selected. All right, now if I don't want to see my text while I'm doing this, I can simply uncheck the show text box. But of course I want to see my text, so I'm going to leave it checked. All right, now let's take a look. I'm going to close out of this and we're going to take a look at bullets. So type in something around the fact of Hurricane Matthew is on course to hit the following. Enter. And we have Jamaica, Bahamas, and I probably spelled it wrong, Florida, and let's just say Georgia. I want to add bullets, so I'm going to select my text, and I'm going to go up here again to my paragraph dialog box, and I want to select bullets. So now it's added bullets, but let's say I want to have numbers instead of bullets. Well, this next button next to it, it provides numbering. Well, let's say I want to change my numbering style. Click on my drop-down arrow. I was having for some reason my word keeps on wanting to stop when I go into the detail. You click on your drop-down arrow, and that's where you could change the styles of your numbers. All right, so to see the different bullet list options, you're going to click down the pull-down arrow next to the bullet command, or the bullet command. All right, if you don't see the number format that you want, you can define a new number format in that area. And I'm not going to go back into that, but that's what you would do. The automatic numbering list. So let me go back here. Oops. So we're going to let's do the Bahamas, Florida, and I can spell today, Georgia. So I'm going to go ahead and select all 3. Click on my little numbering command. Now, from here, if I click on enter, it's going to automatically give me the number 4. However, if I click it again, it's going to stop my numbering. So essentially, in order to stop my numbering, I had to hit enter twice. All right, a little while ago, I set up tabs, and I don't think they're here anymore. No, they're not. So I'm going to create those tabs again. Some generic tabs. So I'm going to go to my paragraph dialog box. Tabs, and I'm just going to make all these left tabs. So let's do 1 at 1 and set, 1 at 3 and set, 1 at 5 and set. So now I have 3 left aligned tabs. And then OK. And I know that because they're right up here. There's a left aligned, there's a left aligned, and there's a left aligned. Now let's say I want to delete one of those. I want to go back to my paragraph dialog box, go back into my tabs, and let's say I want to get rid of the one that's at the 1-inch mark. So I select the 1-inch one, and I select clear. Now that's going to clear that I've created. And I'll go ahead and click on OK. And now I only have the 2 tabs. Back into tabs again. And we're going to talk a little bit about a tab leader. That's what this is. A tab leader is meant to direct your eye in a straight line from left to right. But in the United States, we naturally read from left to right. So you will very rarely ever see or use the tab leader option. Now let's get into copy and paste. Most people really understand about anything about Word. They know how to copy and paste. I'm going to click on it. Let's look a little bit at that. So I'm going to select Hurricane Matthew. And if I do Control-C, it's going to copy. Scroll down. So if I do Control-V, it's going to paste. Okay, well, that's one way to do it. I can go up and again into Hurricane Matthew. I can right-click. For some reason, my right-click is not wanting to work today. Okay, if I right-click, it'll give me the same thing. Let's go up this way. If we go up into our clipboard, we can also click on copy here, and again, come down here, go back to our clipboard, and simply click on paste. All right, another way that a lot of people don't know that exists to copy and paste is select it, hold down your control button, hold down your left mouse click, and drag, and you'll notice that my cursor now has a little plus sign next to it. Because it thinks that I'm now trying to copy and paste that text. So now I was able to copy and paste. Well, you can use a similar method to cut and paste. Select Hurricane Matthew. Only this time I'm going to hold down my left mouse click and I'm going to drag. You'll see that my little plus sign is not there. See, now it cut and paste. And I want to do Control-Z to undo that. So there are multiple ways to copy and paste and cut and paste. That takes care of that one. Let's continue. And if you are one of my students, I'm sure you are following along with your quiz notes that I provided in the announcements, because I'm pretty much going in order. All right, cut and paste. We've looked at copy and paste, which is basically drag and drop. So we did that. To copy, to copy, we're going to do Control-C. To paste, we're going to do Control-V. To cut, we're going to do Control-X. Alrighty. Now let's talk a little bit about the backspace and delete key. If I click the backspace, it's going to delete everything to the left of my cursor. If I click my delete key, I go over here and click on my delete key. It's going to click everything to the right of my cursor. To delete an entire word all at once, if I double click the text, I simply click that. By double clicking, I can select the text, click on delete. I can select the entire word and then click on delete to delete the whole word. So I highlighted the text and I press the delete key on the keyboard. All right, now, while we're on that subject of selecting text in a document, another way to select the text is to click, go to where you want to stop, shift, click. That's one way to select. That's another way to select text. Another way to select text is hold down your left mouse click, hold it down while you're dragging your mouse, and then release your mouse. So that's yet another way. Okay, now let's talk a little bit about saving a document that does not have an original name yet. So right now my document does not have an original name. It's currently called Document 1, and you'll see that I'm currently in autosave. Well, I want to go ahead and save that. So if I click on my little save button here, it's going to take me to the dialog box. It says Save As. No matter which button, no matter which way I go to do this, it's always going to take me to the Save As. Even if I click on File and Save from here, it's still going to take me to Save As because it wants to know, how do you want me to save this document? It wants a name and a location. So I'm just going to click on Desktop and then Save. Now I have my document saved and it's on my desktop. Okay, get rid of this and this. All right, now from this sentence, when I click on enter, it's going to see this line where I just went to as a new paragraph. Actually, let me do this. I'm going to create my little indent here, and then go here, and then click on enter. It's going to automatically see this as my next paragraph. So this is my next paragraph. It's going to take on whatever properties or indenting that I have from here. When we click on enter. All right. So somebody's listening. Can you guys put it on mute? Sending feedback from you. Okay. Key tips. To activate key tips, all you have to do is click on Alt. There are times that my mouse and I do not get along. So if I click on the Alt button, now instead of having to go up to my file to go to my backstage view, all I have to do is click on F, because that's what it says, and it's going to take me to my backstage view. Then it's saying, okay, well, if you click on S, it's going to allow you to save. So that's what key tips are. Key tips allow you to navigate without having to use your mouse. All right, let's look at the alignment. And all right, so we're going to play with one of these paragraphs. Let's work with this one. So I'm going to select it. And even though I have it indented, it is currently left aligned. So if I have, copy this here, Control C, space, Control V. Okay. And Control Z. I'll indent it again. There we go. So you can see that this is a left aligned paragraph because the left side of it is nice and neat, with the exception of your first line indent, and the right side has a jagged edge. Now, if I was to, let me go ahead and select it, click on center, it's going to center all of my lines. If I clicked on right, it's going to have a nice, neat right edge to it and a jagged left side. Now, if I click on my justify, which is this one, you'll see that it added extra spaces in between the words to give me a nice clean left and right edge. That's what the justify view does. But I'm going to go back to my left align because most reports you're going to do are going to use that left align. All right, let's look at zooming into a document. There are several ways to zoom, even when your mouse is not wanting to work. If you look over in the lower right-hand side, you'll see I have a little plus sign. I'm going to click on plus, 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 plus. That's one way to zoom. Or I can go into view, and I can go here into zoom, and I can adjust it here. Or I can adjust it manually here. So let's say I want to be at 125%, and then OK. So now I've zoomed. So there's a couple of different ways to adjust your zoom. All right, so let's see. We've talked about zooming. All right, let's look at our views. All right, so while we're on view, you can see that our default view is our print layout. The other views that you can access are read mode, web layout, outline, and graph. But our print layout is our default view in Word 2013. All right. Whoever's listening in, can you guys put yourself on mute? I can still hear you. That makes it kind of distracting. Okay. All right, now I'm going to go ahead and select this and click on Home. And let's say we are typing away, not even paying attention to what's being typed, and we notice, oh my goodness, all this text is wrong. Well, we can simply go up here to our letters, to our change case, and go back and do change case, and we want to toggle our case. By toggling our case, it basically reverses what we just did. Or if we want, we can make it all caps. So let's go ahead and make it all uppercase. Or if we want to make it all sentence case, we can make it sentence case. And when you make it sentence case, even the proper names become little. So I'm going to do Control Z to undo, and we're back to where we were. Okay, I've already talked about the format painter. Besides outline, shadow, reflection, and glow text options, there's a text effects command that was not previously included in Word, but was previously included in PowerPoint 2007. So I'm going to take a look at that. So if I select Guantanamo Bay, and I'm going to go into fonts, you can see I've got my font, my style, my size. I can do effects. I can also go into advanced. Here I can go into scaling and features. I can also go into text effects. I can do a text fill or even a text outline. One of the things that was new to 2013 or Office 365,
Nice.
Word Art Quick Styles. So I'm going to go over here,
I can't see.
click on Word Art, and I'll just do this. And I'm going to move this over here. So Word Art Quick Styles was brought over in this new version of Office 2013 because of the popularity it had in PowerPoint. A lot of people were having to copy it from PowerPoint into the Word document. So Microsoft saw that and said, okay, let's just go ahead and incorporate it into this new version of Word. All right, I'll go ahead and delete that. All right. Our quick access toolbar is right up here. So I'm going to go ahead and make some changes. Just do and. Okay. So right now our quick access toolbar is composed of our save, our undo, which is Control Z, and redo. So let's say we delete something and decide, oops, let's go ahead and put that back. We're going to use our redo. We can also add other items to our quick access toolbar by clicking on this little icon here to customize our quick access toolbar. And let's go ahead and add a spelling and grammar. Let's say you use spelling and grammar a lot. You don't want to have to go searching for it. You want it right here. So now I can click on spelling and grammar, and it's right here on the main part of the ribbon. Now I'm going to go ahead and remove that. So I'm going to go back to customize my quick access toolbar, select spelling and grammar again, and now I'm back to my save, my undo, and my redo. Now, when you're working with undo again is just like Control Z. So let's say I go through all this, I'm doing all this work, and I accidentally click on delete. Oh no! Instead of clicking on Control Z, all I have to do is go up here and click on undo. But if you click on the drop down arrow, it's going to give you a list of all of your recent actions. Now, let's say if I want to go back all the way back to, let's say here, it's going to delete all of these. You can't pick and choose. So I'm just going to choose clear for now. So undo, the list gives you a list of items that you've done, and you have to choose everything in between that point you want to go back to and the point where you are. The same thing with your redo. All right, let's look at backstage view. Most people know about the backstage view, they just don't know what it's called. If I click on file, this gives us our backstage view. There's a lot of good information back here. You can see all the properties about the document and so on. You can manage your document, check for issues, even protect your document to make sure that nobody changes it. Obviously, we can save as, print, we can share, export. Let's look at export. We have not looked at export yet. So we can export our document into a PDF document. The biggest advantage of a PDF document over a Word document is if you send it to someone, they cannot make changes to the document. They can add notes, but they can't make changes to the document unless they have a PDF right. Most people don't, because you have to pay for it. So you can create a PDF document to further secure your document. You can also export it to any one of these other types. I can save it as an MTHML document if I want, or an RTF, which is a rich text. An RTF document can be read by most other word processors. Same, just like the .txt. But the difference between the RTF and the TXT is this one maintains more of your formatting than your plain text. All right. Let me go ahead and I'm back to my main document again. All right. Now let's talk about how to move around from one page to another. If I do Control End. Let me uncheck that. Control End. It's going to take me to the end of my document. If I do Control Home, it's going to take me to the beginning part of my document. If I do Control Page Down, it's going to take me to the top of my next page. If I do Control Page Up, it's going to take me to the top of the previous page. All right, I've already talked about the ribbon as far as minimizing and restoring the ribbon. I'm going to put everybody on pause for a moment. What? I'm on a live stream. Make it quick. What kind of chicken? Yes. I don't know. Fried chicken. From Popeyes? Yes. Okay, where at? I don't know. Call him. Okay. Bye. Okay. So we've talked about that. We've talked about the quick access toolbar. The ribbon can be exported and imported along with the customizations that we've created. So you can do an import and export of those customizations. Now, when we first started, we talked about a manual page break and natural page break. Well, there's other types of breaks. And if we go into layout and click on this little arrow next to breaks, you can see we also have page, column, text wrapping. We can do next page, continuous, even pages, or even odd pages. So now you know where the odd page and even page break is located on the layout tab. To view a section break document, you want to make sure that you have the show hide non-printing characters tool shown, just like with when we did the control enter to create a new page. We went into file and options and display. We have to have that clicked in order to see those markers. And of course, I don't want to see that, so I'm going to check it again and go into OK. All right, let's go into File and Print. I'm not really going to print it, but in this newer version of Office, it automatically gives us a preview on the right-hand side. It used to be when we went into print, you had to click on preview to see a preview of it before you printed it. Just to make sure that everything's lined up properly. And that is the end of this review. I hope you guys got a little something out of it. And I'm going to see if I can save this so it records. So if you weren't able to see it, you'll be able to watch this later. So if you guys have any questions, shoot me over an email or send me a text. I will be available till about 9 o'clock tonight. I'm going to try to do another one for the intermediate quiz review. It just depends on how much time I can squeeze in.
Joe, get your phone.